So, welcome to part 3 of How I Married Wrong. So, on this part, I'm going to be talking about how I discovered the relationship or the affair that my ex husband had with my friend. So, what happened is that we're in bed at night sleeping, and I think he was drunk. He was sleeping. When he comes back from having fun with his friends, will come home and just leave his phone and fall asleep. He was just like knocked off. And what happened is that as he was sleeping, there's this message that kept on coming. I was sleeping, the message keeps coming, and I keep ignoring the message. It's like, yeah, a chain of messages the way that kept coming um, through his phone, until, because I was not that person who was checking the phones, because I believe that your phone is your phone, my phone is my phone. And I decided that no, this message is irritating me. When I opened the message and I read the message, I just couldn't believe what I saw. It was a message from my friend, sharing how it was nice to be with him, the great time that they had together. And I was so shocked. I couldn't believe my eyes. I couldn't believe, even reading the message. I said, it can't be. Maybe ukufana number. No, it can't be my friend. Then what I did, I dialed the same number, because I thought maybe no, it can't be. Maybe it's the wrong number. It's not her. I dialed the number on my phone, and guess what? It was my friend's number. And I just couldn't believe it. And I think it was midnight. It was midnight, just midnight or just after midnight. I couldn't help it, because my friend was staying few roads away from, we're staying in the same suburb. So I couldn't sleep at night. I was broken, I was hurt, I was crying. I woke up, I took the phone, I took my phone, I took his phone and my phone. I went straight to her home. Remember, I know her home, she's my friend. So I went to her home. When I got to her home, I buzzed at the gate, um, tried to call her, and I said she needs to come out. And I called her to the car. When we got to the car, I was broken. I was crying in front of her. I was asking, how can you do this to me? And remember, at this time, when you have a friend, you share everything with your friend. You tell her how you feel about your man. Sometimes you even share the challenges that you go through. So she knew almost, like, had an idea of what was happening in my life with my fiance. So yeah, and remember, at this time, as I said earlier on in the previous video, that at this time he had paid lobola, and we're ready to get married. In fact, we're planning to get married. So I cried, I broke down. I asked her, how can you do this to me? You know how I love this man. For me, he was like my first love, because in my previous marriage, remember, I fell pregnant when I was doing my first year. I think I was like 19 years old. So I didn't have experience. So I fell pregnant and got married. So this time around, I found myself the man that I love. I found myself the man that I chose, and there was no pressure. So I told her that, you know how I feel about this man, you know how I love this man, and we are planning to get married. How can you do this to me? And the same line that the men always they love to use. She told me that he said he doesn't love me. The reason why he's with me is because I've got his son, and yeah, we are about to get married, and but he loves him. So like, we had a conversation as women, women to women, and the final conclusion, how we conclude the whole thing, is that she said, I'm gonna break up with him, because I was crying, she was crying, we're both crying. And she realized that she's been deceived to be in this relationship, or she was tempted. I don't know what happened. And yeah, so she promised me that I'm gonna break up with him. I'm gonna send him a message in the morning. I don't wanna be with him. Because I said to her, she must choose. She must either choose me or choose him. Yeah, and then she said, no, I want to keep the relationship. But at that time, I knew that it's not going to work because I cannot trust. I'm one person that when trust is broken, it takes time to trust that person again, or to repay, or to trust that person again. So I knew that um I'll never be friends with her. But then at that time, I didn't tell anything. I said, okay, just go ahead and break up with him. Because, when a person is paid lobola, it's like you are his wife already, you're getting married soon. So this was another red flag that I decided to ignore. How can you, in your own senses, you decide to marry a person who has sold you who they are? And I chose not to believe him. But because I had this idol in me that I want to marry this man, I had made up my mind, I want to marry this man. I choose to ignore the red flags. I always tell women, don't ignore the red flags. They are always there. And whatever you ignore before you get married, that's what's going to cause problems in your marriage. So I chose to ignore. Then I went home to confront the guy. I went home to confront the guy. Wait and hear what is about to happen. Yeah, this video is already very long. Yeah, so I went home to confront the guy, and you're not gonna believe what he said.